The Business Owner's Journey. I'm Nick Berry, and I've got real business owners telling their real stories, sharing their real lessons and strategies so you don't have to figure it all out on your own. I'm wrapping up season 1 of The Business Owner's Journey with a special series, the 12 Days of Business. We've got 12 days, 12 episodes with 12 of my previous guests, and this is day 1 of the 12 days. My guest is Daniel Wakefield, owner of Top Tier Headshots. He's an extremely skilled headshot photographer. You can take a look at my new headshot and see evidence of that. But photography is not Daniel's only skill. So let me tell you what he does, and then I'll tell you what I think you should take away from this episode. So he's a great photographer, but he calls himself a first impression architect and an expression coach. And he'll talk a little bit about that in the episode. But that's already evidence of the way that Daniel thinks and the way he presents things. It's like through the eyes of his audience, what it means to them. He's written a book that is coming out in February of 25. It's called Accelerate: How I Took My Creative Business from 0 to 6 figures in 12 months. And in his book, he talks about what he calls the hype tornado. And it's not the like info marketing, sizzling headline, cringy hype. It's more like the opposite of that. When he's talking about the hype tornado, he's talking about like this virtuous cycle of fantastic client experience, which creates raving fans who feed like this proactive and skilled networking strategy, which then feeds new clients, which then feeds the client experience, and then the cycle just repeats. It's a simple strategy that he's put together that leverages the things that he is really, really good at to keep a constant state of buzz going on around his services. He's a good business owner, and he's a really intuitive marketer. I mean, like damn good. So listen to this interview and you'll know what I mean. He's going to talk about this new photography package that he's going to offer for speakers, booking agents, and the like. But the way that he talks about discovering a problem that the market needed solved, he has this like really deep understanding of a problem that needs to be solved. He understands the people who need it solved and the meaning of that problem to those people. So then he can talk about it in terms of the benefits to them and the language that is meaningful to them. What you don't hear any of is him drooling over the features. I think he mentions bringing a giant sport photography lens, but then he immediately says, so that we can get this really up close shot on these speakers from like the back of the room. He knows what's meaningful to the audience and what's not. He's not drunk on his idea. It's more like consumed with understanding their problem to be solved and making sure that he is like totally in tune with it. And if you listen for that, you'll hear it. I don't have any doubt that's why now this is the second service that he's basically decommoditized. That's the label that I've given it. Professional headshots and now these speaker portraits. And now having gone through the process with him and having talked to a lot of people who've been through the process with him, have a new respect and appreciation for the effect that professional headshots and really any of these images that he creates for people have on them. It changes the way that you think about yourself. Another thing that we touch on very briefly here, but that he does really well, is how he uses LinkedIn. And that's part of his hype tornado. So I recommend go follow Daniel on LinkedIn. It's Top Tier Headshots, Top TIER Headshots. This will be in the show notes also. But follow him there because he is fantastic at using LinkedIn to expand his network and keep that buzz going. You also get to see his work like front and center. If you're in the market for a professional headshot, or if you're a speaker, if professionalism is in any way a part of your personal brand, yes, I absolutely recommend talk to Daniel. But that's not the big takeaway here. The big takeaway is you get to see and hear somebody who like truly understands what a market needs, how to see it through their eyes, and how to create groundbreaking opportunities out of what's there. And it's what's there. It's the things that everyone else is staring at, but nobody's seeing it. What he's doing is it's the thing that 99% of small business owners and entrepreneurs think that they're doing, but they aren't. So this is a heck of a start to the 12 days of business. Now, remember, make sure that you're following or subscribed so you get all 12 days of business, the entire series sent to you. If you prefer, I can email them to you. If I do that, you're also going to get the episode pages, exclusive guest profiles, the additional resources that we're putting together for these episodes, and we're only sending those things out through email. So to get that, you need to go to nickberry.info/12 days. That's the number 12 days. Okay, now enjoy the show.
They kept telling me in one way or another, I can't get a good shot of myself while I'm speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for marketing collateral, and other people are looking for that marketing collateral from them. I mean, every speaker, coach, and agent that I talk to says we need good shots of our people speaking. And so then these speakers are telling me, we need this, and I can't get it for a variety of reasons. Maybe the lighting is bad in the venue. Maybe, there's a photographer there, but they're not there for them. And so they only take a few clicks. And in every shot, they've got like a weird mouth thing going on because they're speaking. It's in the moment, but there wasn't somebody there focused and dialed in on them. And so they're missing out on these opportunities. Or maybe they didn't get one because the only photographer there is their best friend in the front row with an iPhone. And we love that best friend, but that's not going to produce really great marketing collateral. So I started to think about, well, how can we solve this problem in my studio? Can we recreate staged lighting? Can we project their slide deck on the wall? Can we put a mic in their hand and get them to start talking and expressing and getting kind of great action momentum going, and then find that perfect moment, which will be just, now the banner on their website, all of that. So it's like trying to add this value and solve this real problem and to create more powerful marketing collateral for these folks.
Mm-hmm. So what are the kind of things that you said that they're trying to use these for?
Well, so, I mean, the speaker agents and coaches that I'm talking to, a lot of times when, let's say, there's a big conference and the conference organizer is trying to get speakers and then promote the conference through, these speakers and things like that, they want to be able to show shots of these speakers in action.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you've got horrible photos like that versus really engaging, dynamic, well-lit, well-coached photos like that, which one's going to influence the organizer in terms of who you're going to pick, especially if, all other things being equal, you've got to pick the guy with the, terrible pictures or the guy with, wow, this guy looks really professional. He looks like knows what he's talking about. So, which one do you want to be, essentially?
Yeah. It's the difference in somebody who sends you their bio typed out in the body of an email versus somebody who sends you a media kit.
Yep.
Or a one sheet. Yeah.
Yep.
Or like my speaking pictures, I think, are all from the side. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that was kind of the thought process there was, can we create something that adds a lot of values or a lot of value alongside the headshots and branding portraits I was already doing? And so it just started experimenting. I haven't seen other photographers that are specifically trying to solve this problem. And so every single speaker, every single speaker, coach, and agent that I've shown these to and what I've developed so far is like mind blown. Like, we got to use this. I want to tell, other people about this, the people in my network about this. So I'm excited.
Yeah, So now you've got you're not going to be able to take the best headshots in the world because you're going to be so busy taking the best like speaking
I mean, they
shots.
all go together, right? But it's kind of killing two birds with one stone there. But I think this kind of goes back to the necessity of business owners really trying to think through how do we solve problems for our ideal clients, and to solve a problem better than anybody else solves it, or to solve a problem that no one else is solving.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel a bit like that with these. I'm calling them keynote portraits, and I don't see any other photographers trying to solve this problem. And so
Why
part of
not?
what's that?
Why not? Why is nobody else solving it?
I, well, I mean, so I've heard of other photographers getting speaker shots for people, but what they're typically doing is they're going to like an auditorium, putting people on the stage. They just turn the house lights on and then start, taking pictures. But the problem is that lighting is actually very harsh. It's not flattering light. It creates very harsh shadows. It doesn't look great. And so part of what I'm trying to do is recreate the general look, but make the lighting more flattering to people, so that when you're using this as marketing collateral, you're actually getting a shot of yourself that puts you in a literally the best light.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've seen people like, oh yeah, we're going to get speaker shots, we're going to do this, but I've never seen somebody trying to recreate this in a studio setting where they can really dial in and optimize all of the factors to make it look as good as possible.
Yeah. And so, do you have any idea off the top of your head, like what percentage of your existing clientele for top tier is this like a perfect add-on for?
Oh man, I'm not sure percentage wise, but I do work with a lot of people that, even if they're not like full-time keynote speakers, that they're doing speaking in some
Oh
form
yeah.
or other. They're sitting on panels, they're getting asked to speak at more, local events. And so I'd say the percentage is actually pretty significant
I bet.
of people that this could be really useful for them, especially if they have their sights set on, I want to speak more, I want to put myself out there. And I think this could be really dynamite for them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even look at it like it's nowhere near being exclusive to trying to build a career as a keynote speaker. It's if you are, it puts you in an authoritative perspective, right? So if you're doing any kind of speaking and that's part of your brand, you need to have some image that helps convey that, I think. And this, I've seen the ones that you are doing. They're fantastic, of
Thank you.
course. So do you have some of those up on your site on top tier?
We are working on, I think I do have some if you go to the portfolio page and then scroll down to the branding portraits, if you scroll through those, we've added some of those in there. But I'm working on putting together a specific section on the website, because I want, essentially, not ashamed to say, I'm looking to have more keynote speakers as clients. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is a great solution for their marketing needs. So we're working on putting together a section on our website that's specific for them, just to show them, here's what we can do for you. Here are the problems that we can solve for you, and this is like what it's like to work together. And I should add that one of the things that we're uh, planning to start offering in 2025 is basically, if you're speaking somewhere, that you can bring us in to essentially be your photographer for the day, so that we can capture you speaking. And then it's not just like the event photographer who maybe gets a couple of shots of you and then is on to do something else, but you have a dedicated photographer at that event,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's while you're speaking, while you're on a panel, while you're interacting with the crowd, all of those things, so that we can essentially have a day of producing assets for you as well. So we can do the highly optimized ones in my studio, or we can come on location and really knock it out of the park. And I'm not talking about like somebody showing up with a little camera to follow you around. I'm talking about like showing up with one of those giant sports lenses so that from the back of the auditorium, we can get close up, amazing portraits of you in action. And so that'll be something we're talking with clients about an offering in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, if you're not sure, if you can't envision this, then you need to see some of the ones that Daniel's done. And I was just thinking I'm sure the ones that you have on your site will be helpful, but also somebody just needs to go to your LinkedIn and follow you on LinkedIn. And because it's basically a feed of examples of clients who you've done headshots or these type of keynote speaker profiles for. And also they can learn how to use LinkedIn the way that LinkedIn was designed to be used.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some examples, follow Daniel on LinkedIn, because I mean, it is a constant flow. That's awesome. And so this is a second thing now that you've taken that you're kind of like decommoditizing, right? I mean, have you looked at it like that, or is it just me?
To me, it's all about value. What kind of value are we bringing to the table? And if the value is simply, hey, just like everybody else, we're going to put you in front of a camera, tell you to say cheese and click, then yeah, I mean, you're probably just going to look for the cheapest price that you can find there. But if we're talking about something that's actually going to benefit your brand, connect you with more people, help you close more deals, open more doors for you. I mean, I think I talked about this previously, but the client of mine that I photographed her and specifically photographed her for her book cover. And she told me that people at her speaking engagements have come up to her and said, we bought a ticket to your event. We paid to come and hear you speak, or we bought your book simply because of the photo on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me, again, think about that from a speaking point of view. That's real ROI right there. That's like, multiplying value. So, what's a few hundred or even a few $1,000s for these really engaging, assets that you can put on your website, your LinkedIn, your social media, and really present yourself as the authority in your space. That's going to come back to you, 10x more than that over the lifetime of these assets.
Yep. So this just hit me I've still got this question in my mind rolling around about like, what's the difference and why is nobody doing this? Because there's like, what's happened previously is there's someone there to take pictures at an event, but their subject is the event, not the speaker. And until you have been the subject where you were the reason that they're there, you haven't actually had this done.
Yeah.
You just used something that was done, like it's almost a byproduct of another project. Yeah. And you're kind of trying to shoehorn it in to what you need.
I was talking with somebody recently who got to speak at an event at a university. Same thing. They had photographers there, kind of like you said, their subject is the whole event. So yeah, they got a few pictures of themselves and they went through and showed me, and there was maybe like 4 or 5 like okay ones. Nothing was like, wow, this is amazing. It was like, yeah, I could use that. Like that, that's kind of like you get what you pay for type of thing. Whereas, if you, number one, if you had somebody dedicated for you at the event who had really everything optimized to capture you in your best light and brought all the necessary equipment to do that, that's one way that we can really elevate that and then give you like a whole ton of options to choose from there instead of here's 5 options. Hopefully one of them's good. Then the other thing is, obviously, if you're speaking on stage, you want to be focused on your presentation. You want to be focused on the audience. You don't want to be thinking about, I have a photographer here. Now, obviously, we would be, very much in the background and not being distracting. But one of the benefits of doing these highly optimized portraits in my studio is that I can actually coach you as to how, the type of expressions that you're making, and how you are talking. So, for example, when I'm doing these keynote portraits in my studio, I will get somebody, once I get the lighting dialed in and get their, slide deck projected on the wall, I will get them to start, give me the first few lines of your keynote. Just start walking me through it. And so they get talking, they start getting loosened up, and I'll be like, stop right there, go back and do that again, but I want you to put some more energy into it. I want to see your face really, I know you're passionate about this subject. I want to see your face really light up. So I want you to put more of yourself into this. And so then I'm, watching for those moments where I can see, just the passion, just spilling out of them. And that's where the magic happens, is actually in the coaching, where, if you've got somebody there for the event, that's great. And I think we're going to be able to capture some really great stuff. But you have the benefit in the studio of kind of pausing, going back and getting coached through it with my eye looking for those magic moments, which very well may happen in the moment on stage. Hopefully they do happen if you're a good speaker, but we can be very intentional and coach them out of you in a much quicker, time span as well in my studio. So that's part of the benefit of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I know that you have it figured out.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I kind of feel like a bit of a trailblazer here, and just kind of, I really want to push the boundaries and see how far can we take these shots in a studio setting, and what kind of different, engaging, kinds of images can we get. And I'm excited about what we've got so far, and I'm excited to see what happens in 2025.
I love the way that you think about things. It's exciting. It's fun.
I've got inspiring people like you that plant little seeds in my head too. So that's always good.
You can never have too many of those people around, right?
Absolutely.
Something's always growing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me, man.
Absolutely. Great to be on with you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you found the show valuable, you can say thanks and show your support simply by taking a quick second to like, share, and comment on the show. You can also find more information about each of my guests, all of the resources from the show, and myself at nickberry.info/TBOJ.